I'll never forget the moment I stood in my empty living room, blinking back tears, staring at the cake we had baked for my daughter's birthday, and realizing that no one was coming. I had spent weeks planning, sending invites, polishing every detail, and yet by 2 o'clock, there was no sign of my own family. Later, when I refused their demand for one's AD50, they accused me of ruining things, and somehow ended up calling the police. Does any of this make sense to you? Was I wrong to tell them no? Would you have handled it differently if this was your child's party? It all started when my daughter, Lily, turned 7. She's sweet and imaginative, the kind of kid who bursts into song for no reason, who picks flowers for me just because she saw some peonies outside. As her birthday approached, she begged for a themed party with all her cousins, her aunts and uncles, grandma, grandpa, everyone. I had never thrown anything big before, but this year I thought we'd try. The house was modest, but I figured with paper decorations, balloons, and homemade snacks, it could feel magical for her. I sent invitations to my parents, to my brother and sister, their spouses, my in-laws, everyone who was family, on paper anyway. In the week leading up, things felt good. My parents called me asking what time to arrive. My brother texted, "What can I bring?" My sister said she'd help set up. My in-laws asked if they could bring extra chairs. I let myself believe, again, that maybe things could be okay this time. That family wouldn't disappoint. I spent hours blowing up balloons, stringing fairy lights, baking cupcakes with little fondant unicorns, setting up a magic land corner with crafts. Lily's excitement was infectious. She talked about who'd come, how they'd play games, eat cake, watch her open presents. She asked me each night, "Will Aunt June dance with me? Will Grandpa make a funny face?" I promised her yes. Then, 2 days before the party, I got a message from my sister. She said that she and her kids couldn't come after all. Her husband had to work late, she said, and maybe next time. I was disappointed, but I didn't press her. A little later, my brother sent regrets too. Something about his car breaking down and fear of driving in city traffic. My in-laws claimed they had a minor emergency with their plumbing and couldn't make it. My parents stopped returning my calls. At first I thought maybe this was some strange coincidence, a cascade of misfortunes. But something in my gut twisted. On the day of the party, I woke early to get everything ready. I baked the last batch of cookies, checked the seating, fluffed the balloons. I dressed Lily in a pink unicorn dress, braided her hair, let her choose her favorite necklace. She kept asking, "Will Aunt June be here?" I forced a smile and said, "Maybe she'll surprise you." But inside my heart was sinking. At noon our guests were supposed to start arriving. At 1 p.m. nothing. At 2 p.m. nothing. At 3 p.m. I realized nobody was coming. I looked at the clock, at my phone. My parents hadn't even texted, no apologies. Nothing. The house was quiet except for Lily's innocent questions. "Mommy, I thought Grandma would be here?" I swallowed tears and just held her. I told her, "They're running late, sweetie. They'll come soon." But by 4 p.m. I knew. I called her to the cake table and said, "It's just us tonight." We sang Happy Birthday with 2 candles. I helped her blow them out, she giggled, and we cut the cake. It was bittersweet. I had hoped for laughter and hugs, but we sat in our living room, just the 2 of us and a few scattered chocolates. I wrapped her few gifts and tried to make it fun. I played music, danced with her, we made silly faces at each other. But the emptiness was heavy. The next day, my phone dinged. It was a message from my brother. "Hey, about last night, that party was a joke. You wasted money. We were there, but we decided not to bother. Also, we need $150 back for what you borrowed from us over the years." My heart thumped. Borrowed from us over the years. What was he talking about? Why now? He said I owed my parents too, for support and lodging in my younger days. When I tried to call them, they said my mother was sick, but she can't talk. My father texted, "You always were selfish." They demanded I wire them $150, then another $1,000, or they'd call the police. I felt like I was in a nightmare. So I wrote back, "No, I didn't borrow that amount. I'm sorry you didn't show up, but I will not pay you." That's when things escalated. My sister texted accusing me of ruining the family dynamic and being childish. My in-laws joined in. My phone was ringing with relatives demanding explanations, guilt trips, lectures on respect and gratitude. One cousin sent screenshots of texts I'd never sent. Then a messagey. "If you don't send the money by tomorrow, we are involving the police for harassment." I looked at Lily, playing with her toys, oblivious. I knew I had to stand firm. The night before the deadline, I got a knock on the door. A police car pulled in front of my house. 2 uniformed officers came in. They asked to speak with me. I sat in shock, listening while they read me the report. My family had filed a complaint, alleging that I had defrauded them, refused to pay my debts, and was somehow harassing them. The officer asked, "Do you have documentation?" I said no. I never thought they'd try this. They asked me what the wasn't 80/50 was supposed to be for. They asked for bank transfers, receipts, any proof. I had nothing. They told me to stay calm, cooperate, and that they'd investigate. They left after taking my statement. That night I lay awake, not knowing how this could have happened. How could the people who had ignored me for a party, who had ghosted my daughter, who didn't bother to call or apologize, now turn around and call the authorities as if I had done something wrong? I felt anger, betrayal, fear. I considered just paying the money to make it stop, but something in me, pride, dignity, maternal instinct, refused. I couldn't let them treat my child's birthday like a weapon or leverage. Over the next few days, I reached out to every lawyer I could afford, posted on small claims forums, collected screenshots of messages where they had confirmed attendance, texts from me asking them if they were coming, my receipts for the decorations, my bank statements showing I never sent their alleged debt. I laid out the timeline in painful detail: the invitations, the initial confirmations, the last-minute excuses, the message demanding money after the fact. I documented how each one ignored me until they needed something. Meanwhile, they kept up the pressure. My brother kept calling, accusing me of defamation for including him in my rebuttals. My mother told mutual friends I was delusional, ungrateful, hysterical. They painted me as unstable. I saw covert messages with cousin groups saying, "Hear her side too." I realized they were trying to gaslight the narrative, painting themselves as victims. I posted a politely worded statement to family group chats, saying, "I feel hurt that nobody came. I cannot in good conscience pay for what you claimed, but I'm open to dialogue." No replies. The silence was deafening. One night in tears, I sat across from Lily at the kitchen table. She asked, "Mommy, is Grandma mad at me?" I choked on my words but said, "No, darling, Grandma was busy. She couldn't make it." She nodded, drew a flower for me. She didn't ask more. But later she quietly asked, "Will they ever come to my next party?" I hugged her tight and said, "Yes, I hope so." But inside my heart I wasn't so sure. And now we're at the turning point. My case had to go to small claims court, and I had to decide whether to file countersuits for emotional distress, defamation, and to ask for the cost of the party itself. I felt terrified but resolute. So that's where I stopped for a moment. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have paid to avoid trouble? Or would you stand your ground? After a day of gathering my courage, I filed the case. In all honesty, part of me feared being called crazy, losing credibility, having my child dragged through some ugly family drama. But another part of me, stronger, wouldn't back down. I sent certified letters to each family member, summarized my grievances, presented my supporting evidence texts, confirming their intent to come, screenshots asking for attendance, photos of the setting, receipts for all the party expenses, bank records showing no transfers to them, and a ledger of the emotional toll. I also filed a counterclaim for defamation, given how they had publicly accused me of fraud and harassment. The hearing day arrived. I sat in the courtroom, dressed simply but neatly, clutching my binder of evidence like armor. My family members filed in: my brother, my parents, my sister, my in-laws. Their faces looked stiff, uneasy, flinty. When the judge called the case, I spoke carefully, calmly. I laid out the timeline. I said, "Your Honor, this is not only about money. It's about the emotional harm inflicted on me and my daughter. It's about accountability." I referenced the police complaint they filed with no basis, their manipulation, their refusal to attend the party they confirmed. I asked for reimbursement of the party cost, compensation for defamation, and dismissal of their claims. When they spoke, they pleaded memory lapses. We were busy that day. Things came up? We regret not coming? We don't recall promising. We don't feel she's owed anything special. Their lawyer claimed lack of evidence. It felt like they were trying to create fog. But I presented my side, my texts, my voice recordings, my supply receipts. I watched the judge's face as I spoke about Lily waiting for her grandparents, about how my daughter asked if grandma was mad at her, and about the shock of police showing up at my door for something I didn't do. After what felt like an eternity, the judge rendered a decision. She acknowledged that while family sometimes cancels at the last minute, in this case there was enough credible evidence to order partial reimbursement for the party costs. Decorations, food, venue supplies. As to the $1,850 they demanded, she found no basis for that claim and dismissed it entirely. She also dismissed their harassment charges against me because they lacked evidence. Regarding defamation, she ruled that their claims had caused reputational harm and awarded me a modest sum to cover the damage. She urged both sides to consider mediation if they wished to repair relationships, but clarified that the court could not force emotional reconciliation. I felt relief and vindication, like a weight had lifted. But the aftermath was messy. Some family members refused to accept the ruling, accusing me of using the court to humiliate them. They demanded an appeal and threatened to sue me for costs. Others quietly blocked me. Some mutual friends took sides, social media posts, gossip whispers. For a while I felt isolated. My phone wouldn't ring. Invitations stopped arriving. Yet through it all, Lily had me and I had her. She continued to hug me at night. She asked me for next year's party, and I nodded. But I knew I'd be more cautious. Over time, some bridges have softened. My brother sent a tentative message. I'm sorry it turned out this way. I didn't respond. I needed time. My mother texted, let's bury the hatchet. I wrote back that I'd need an apology first. My daughter, thank God, seemed unaware of the full ugliness. She just asked, Mummy, can we have a family picnic soon? I promised we would try. And even though I hurt, I didn't regret defending her, or myself. The relationship with my family may never return to what it once was, if it ever was. But I have dignity now. I won't let people weaponize guilt or manipulation, especially when my child's happiness was at stake. The court didn't fix everything. It can't make them behave. But it did something important. It gave me a public record, acknowledgement, and a voice. It said that their actions had consequences. I hope you realize that this isn't just about a party or money. It's about respect, boundaries, and love that demands accountability. Sometimes defending yourself means facing the very people you hoped would protect you. And sometimes, even family must be held to account when they betray you. If you were on my side, if you believe nobody should mess with a mother trying to give her child joy, then like this video. Subscribe for more stories like mine, where people stand up, face betrayal, and reclaim their power. Share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section. Tell me what you would have done in my shoes, or share a story if something like this ever happened to you. Thank you for listening. I'll see you all in the next story.